Does the consequence of not cushioning the blow, is that much greater than whatever moral hazard you create by continuing to bail out folks?
So without being an expert in the statutory framework around this, my view at the time was that the depositors at Silicon Valley Bank and Signature Bank should have taken haircuts. Now, at the end of the day, there were bids of 70 cents for their claims, so it would have been a 30% haircut if they wanted immediate liquidity. If they held on to their claims, they probably would have ultimately taken 10 to 20 cent haircuts. And when you look at Silicon Valley Bank, to me, this ended up being not just a bailout of the depositors, but it was really a bailout of venture capital funds. Because Silicon Valley Bank was particularly, I think, from a moral and moral hazard perspective, egregious in that they deliberately, and when I say they, it's the bank and the VC funds, they deliberately created this very closed ecosystem where everybody put their deposits there, then they borrowed, they took out loans, they took the free cash, they redeposited, it was reloaned, and it's all within the same circle. And really, if companies there, the uninsured depositors, they were almost entirely venture-funded companies, if they'd been forced to take some haircuts, then basically, and that hurt their operating cash, well, these VC funds that say, hey, we have all this dry powder, well, they would have been forced to re-up and recapitalize these companies to some extent. But what ended up happening was, effectively, the U.S. government came in, and because believe me, there were a number of companies that the VCs would not have re-upped their investments in, given the change in the macro environment. So these companies that are at this point uninvestable for venture capital funds to re-up, the U.S. government just ended up basically putting money into them and getting nothing in return. So to me, you should have let the depositors at these banks take haircuts, but then say, okay, from now on, okay, risk has been realized. From now on, we're going to create this program where we're going to lend at par against securities, and your deposits are protected. So somebody has to take losses at some point if we're going to eliminate this cycle of people taking really bad risks with other people's money and then getting, and then basically the slate getting wiped clean. Like this just leads to worse and worse outcomes over time.